Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. As the debate over a uniform civil code continues, Network 18 has conducted a mega survey. It's India's biggest survey about a uniform code, about equality, not so much about a law per se. Over 8,000 Muslim women across 25 states and union territories have been asked about the nitty-gritties that a uniform code could encompass. 7 such key questions were asked in the survey. They did not make any mention of a proposed UCC bill or any form of a law that it could come in. It was strictly limited to the themes that a uniform code is likely to cover. The survey participants included women aged 18 to 65 plus. Now, if you remember, the Law Commission has sought suggestions, objections from all stakeholders for a period of 1 month as far as a uniform civil code goes. That deadline ends on the 13th. But what exactly do India's Muslim women think? On this edition of Nation at 5, I'll take you through 2 of those questions. Let's first put across the first question that we want to put for you as far as a common law goes. We asked the surveyors what exactly were their views as far as a common law was concerned, be it for marriage, for divorce, for adoption or inheritance. Look at the numbers that are coming out now. 67% say yes, there should be a common law as far as all of this goes. Irrespective of gender, irrespective of religion, a common law is what is required. 25% say no, 7.4% say we don't know or we can't say. That is as far as a common code goes. We're not talking about a uniform civil code as a law. We're talking about a common code, equality, level playing field for all those stakeholders that are involved. Now let's take a look at what exactly the numbers are as far as the support for this particular uniform law is concerned. As far as the surveyors go, between 18 to 44 years, 69% said yes, there should be a common law. Beyond 44 years to 65 plus, the women that we surveyed, they said also in favor of a uniform law. The number is a little lower though, that is at 60%. Still over the 50% mark, more than half of the 8,000 women that we spoke to had to say that they want a uniform code, they want equality. Empowerment is what we're looking at, is what these women told us. Joining me on this broadcast is Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar. Ambar Zaidi, social activist, also joins me. And let me get you started by asking Ambar Zaidi this. Ambar Zaidi has spoken to at least 8,000 or over 8,000 women. Most of them say, yes, we want equality. It's high time that empowerment conversation takes place and takes place freely. That's what this survey goes on to show.
Absolutely, and what you were discussing the topic, the recent survey conducted by Network 18, the largest survey, I must say, till now exclusively on uniform civil code, and where over 8,000 Muslim women participated, residing in different, almost 25 different states and union territories across the country. And the result is overwhelming as the purpose of the survey has to, was to understand that what is their opinion on uniform civil code is expected to address, focusing solely that those, not just necessarily the bill, rather than the topic and the issue, what is being discussed, and are they really understanding what is the uniform civil code? That was the purpose. And uniform civil code will mean one law and will be applicable across the union territory of India, and all citizens, irrespective of the sexual orientation, their religion, their gender, it will be applicable to all. And the law will cover the personal matters like marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and etc., etc. And what is more interesting, that when UCC was in talks, Muslim organizations, they were questioning that, and they were in fact condemning that it will affect all the religions in terms of education, education qualification. We are discussing these women who participated in debates. Most of the women, they were graduate, and they are all educated women who are supporting.
Yes.
And this is, I think, a good survey, and the response is overwhelming, and I am very happy to see this response. At least women who are educated, they are understanding what is uniform civil code. Earlier, these organizations who are supposedly the self-proclaimed flag bearer of Muslim community and human right and human, that all those organizations were claiming that everybody is against uniform civil code and nobody wants uniform civil code in India.
Yes.
The women of this country, they themselves are coming out and supporting uniform civil code, at least not as they'll be, because we don't have the draft ready in front of us and we can't discuss the draft. Because
and that wasn't a part of the survey either. We weren't exactly looking at a bill or a law that could come in. That's not the purview of this entire survey. The purview of this entire survey was to look at the themes that a UCC law could perhaps look at. We're looking at equality, Atikur Rahman, and that's really the point. That the point that comes out of all of this, that yes, we know there is no clarity as far as the UCC goes. There are questions that are being raised politically as to what really the intent of the government is, but we're not getting into that. We're talking about equality, we're talking about empowerment. What do you then think of these kind of results where women are coming out and overwhelmingly saying that yes, there should be parity? That's all that we want.
So Shivani, the question is, since when these women are waiting for justice, for equality, the main political party, which is now the ruling party since the last 9 years, they had promised the women of India in 1986 in their manifesto that they will be empowering them by the Uniform Civil Code. A mighty government of Vajpayee ji came to power for 5 long years, not a word on it. Now this present government is about to complete 10 years. Not a single word from the Prime Minister. Only 8 days back in a party meeting, he came up with the idea of a uniform civil code. So what we are saying is, we are firing in the air in the absence of a draft resolution which the governments of the BJP is unable to present on any of the state legislatures.
Which is why when I asked you the question, that's exactly what I said. We're not discussing a UCC or we're not discussing the law at all. We're talking about the sentiment of the community. Can you dismiss that altogether? And as far as you say, the BJP has been making these tall promises for decades together, but when Triple Talaq bill came up and the ban on Triple Talaq bill came up, when that went to court, we had several from within the community who objected, saying that you can't encroach upon our personal laws.
Lakhs Muslims gathered at India Gate and they were against the Supreme Court judgment, which was in favor of...
Yes, Mr. Rahman, go ahead. Shivani. Yes, Mr. Rahman, this is Poonam here, but go ahead.
Shivani, say, Amber tried to understand, how can you expect a community or communities which are undoubtedly patriarchal in their approach and misogynist in their approach to come out in favor of these bills? In favor of these bills, the Supreme Court has opined that in the name of scriptures, the religious leaders have usurped the powers of the women.
All right, I have a question.
So what are we talking about?
Can I ask a question? I have a question for you.
Sure.
See, we all are citizens of this country, and equal right has been ensured by Constitution of this country under Article 40. And it is state's responsibility to ensure the right of a citizen of the country. When a country or a state or Supreme Court implements or asks the governments to do something on Uniform Civil Code, and now they are the current government, they are willing to do something on Uniform Civil Code. And when they say, and in fact, 22nd Law Commission has been formed and they've asked for the suggestion. Now people are saying that BJP is doing for mayor politics and they're questioning the timing and everything. Why? What do you want? You want the government to bring Uniform Civil Code, or you are against or for it? Because when you say that, how can you expect the change or these kind of reforms within the community? Why can't we expect? Because these organizations, these people, they declare themselves the flag bearer of the Muslim community and Islam. When we talk about justice and gender equality, why can't we just say that at least we should start from accepting that there is a gender disparity? There are laws and provision under Muslim personal law that those are subjugated towards women, and we can't simply justify subjugation under the name of this cultural or these norm or under religion. We can't justify subjugation or gender disparity at any cost.
Amber, let me expose the parliament as a whole and the BJP in particular. The parliament since the past 30 years. Now please allow me to explain.
Okay, all right,
Please.
make your point.
The Parliament of India since the past 30 years, Shivani, they haven't given the women their right to 33% reservation.
Oh
The
my God!
same
Let's start
parliament
from,
every now
start
and
from
then.
equal rights. You want reservation in parliament and politics. You don't want to discuss the basic right to equality.
You made your point. Let Atikur Rahman have his time as well. I'll come back to you.
Amber, if you are going to interrupt me,
I'm
yeah,
not going
thank
to
you so
let
much.
you. I just
Amber,
wanted
try to understand the
All right,
points.
okay, you make your point.
Try to understand the points.
Okay.
We are demanding, the women of India are demanding gender justice, gender parity and equality. They are demanding how we can empower this particular lot of women which has been subjugated by the Indian society. Now come to the larger platform, Shivani. We are expecting this from the religious leaders. Are you really expecting them to come on tune with the
No,
the powers that
don't
be?
expect them to
No,
come and
you will
put
have
up
to
a
show them the
statement.
danda.
I want them to mind their business.
Amber.
Just they do their religious thing. Don't interfere in these affairs. Why they just they are declaring them this the flag bearer of the community. This is the state's responsibility. Let the state decide and let the state ensure equal right to everybody.
It's about equality, it's about
The
equal rights, and that's
orthodox
really where this stands.
elements
Atikur Rahman and Amber Zaidi, do stay on with me because we have more reactions that are now coming in. Like Atikur Rahman was also pointing out, this does take a political turn. There is political nuance to this entire debate as well. Let's now take in a word that's coming to the fore from the Indian Union Muslim League. MLA from the IUML now says that the government cannot interfere in personal matters of religion. Any reform should come from within the community and not from outside. Listen in.
More than 65% of Muslim women, these respondents have said that they would like some kind of a common code in civil matters.
The propaganda against the Muslim community that there is only polygamy in Muslim community and there is only divorce happening in the Muslim community is not a correct statement. Survey among the Muslim community, no? Why? Only Muslim community has the problem. Then why you are taking a research on only Muslim community? I can show various other communities having the same problems. So you are not concerned about other organizations, other communities. It is a phenomenon that only the Muslim women are having the major problem. Show me how many polygamies you can show nowadays. There are a lot of cases happening in the family courts. It's only Muslim issues on inheritance happening. I can show a number of cases of inheritance cases from other communities.
Now, before I get across our guests on what exactly IUML MLA had to say, because this is not just anybody who thinks he's a flag bearer or torch bearer for the community. This is an elected representative and MLA. But before that, let me also take in another question that we asked the respondents as part of this mega survey. Do you support 21 years to be the legal age for marriage for everyone, for all men, women, irrespective of gender, irrespective of religion? Look at the kind of answers that came to the fore. A whopping 78.7% said yes, there should be an age limit which is 21 that should be equal for both men and women across all religions, across all communities. Only 16 said no, 4% said cannot say. This is as far as the numbers go. Now, what about those who were surveyed, those who came out and gave that 78% vote for a uniform age of 21 to be a marriageable age? 18 to 44 years respondents, out of them, 80% said yes, that is the requirement, that 21 is the least that the age gap should be at. 44 plus 74% people also said. So a majority of people that we've spoken to among the over 8,000 responders that we have, all of them have come out and said, most of them, I beg your pardon, have come out and said that yes, 21 years should be a uniform age as far as both men and women go. That should be the legal age for marriage. It cannot be any lesser based on your gender. And Atikur Rahman, I want to get you in on that. Like I said, it is about equality. We're talking about this. We're talking about the Muslim women because as far as personal laws go, as far as marriage age goes, or as far as inheritance goes, there is a disparity as far as what a woman gets and what a man gets.
Exactly. The survey is pointing out to the government the seriousness of the issue. Now, why is the government not serious? Why is it hiding behind the Law Commission? Why not immediately present before the Parliament a draft resolution? For what cause the government is waiting for? The people of India, not only the people of India, the Supreme Court of India have pinpointed to the government, as the Prime Minister said that, डंडा आया है वहां से, तो भाई डंडा आया तो लॉ कमीशन के पीछे छुप जाओगे आप?
Law Commission is part of the government. The Law Commission is taking objections and is taking stakeholders on board. If that wasn't done, then you would have accused the government of doing something unilaterally.
Exactly. You are imposing forcibly on people.
Atikur Rahman, suggestions are being taken from the stakeholders. So are objections being taken, like the AIMPLB has put out their objections.
Why these objections? Why this tamasha? Has the Law Commission involved in the repealing of the Article 370? Had the Law Commission involved in the removal of triple talaq? That mighty Modi government was so strong at that time, but when it comes to the entire length and breadth of India, giving the rights and empowering women, they are hiding behind the commissions. This is uncalled for. If they have the guts, the draft resolution
are
should be
you
very
in
much
favor of
easily
uniform
available to the
civil code? Are
people.
you for or against it? What do you want? What is your stand? I want to understand that.
So far you haven't understood.
No, absolutely not. What are you trying to
So far
say?
you have not understood.
No, not
We
at all.
are in favor of gender justice and gender equality. Will the
All right,
government
then what are
deliver?
your objections?
Will the government deliver? 37 years. 37 years waiting for it. Are you serious? Why don't you ask questions to the government? Why only the Muslim community? Why only the Muslim leaders?
It's not about just Muslim
Hell
community.
with
It's about
them.
the 70 crore women of India.
That's
It's about
it. Come to the point now.
gender justice,
Onam.
not just women of Muslim community.
Gender. What
Atikur
about
Rahman,
the
these
tribal
questions are
rights?
being asked of the Muslim
Onam,
community and
what
of the
about
Muslim
tribal
leaders
rights?
because there is a disparity in laws, like I said, as far as
Absolutely.
inheritance goes. As far as the Hindu law goes for inheritance, both the son and the daughter are equal heirs. That's not the case as far as the Muslim personal law goes. Would you deny that?
Amendments has been taken place.
No, this is a wrong presumption, Onam. The Muslim woman gets the right from the ancestral father's property also and from the husband's property also.
Are
Tell me, under the Hindu undivided family, if you are interrupting with this man, sorry, I will have to
Ambar Zaidi, let Atikur Rahman have his say. I will come back to you.
If you are having
Let
a
Atikur Rahman
propaganda
have his
debate,
say, Ambar
or
Zaidi.
you
I'll
are
come back to you.
having a
Mr. Rahman, go
rational
ahead. Mr. Rahman, go ahead.
Have rational arguments, under the Hindu undivided family, the out of the will of the patriarch of the family, they are misusing the powers of the women. No woman gets the ancestral land in the when a will is made. Will be carved in this uniform civil code? The government representatives on the media channels are unable to answer the questions of people like Uvesi. Why are they not answering the questions? The questions are, will there be a parity in the marriages, in the divorce section, in the ancestral code? But they are unable to answer.
But that's the whole
There is
point that
no
we're trying to
draft.
make here. I am no
In the
advocate for the
absence
government
of
or
the
what the
draft,
UCC
we
bill
are
would be like.
discussing-
There is ample amount of doubt over what this draft is going to be like. So I'm not going to stand here and defend that. But as far as this particular survey of Network 18 goes, what we're talking about is parity. And that's all that is required. But we have MLAs that come out and say that we can't have this decision made from outside. We should have this within the community. Now, within the community, there are clergymen that are flag bearers, torch bearers of wanting to speak for
want a
everyone,
parent
and they want to keep the patriarchy going. Like you yourself, Atikur Rahman, said
They
that
want
this
to
is
enjoy
being decided by a
everything
patriarchal
exclusive.
society.
Well,
Then where does that leave the women of your community?
Onam, try to understand. always there has been a wide gap between the Muslim intelligentsia and the clergy. We cannot expect this clergy, which is down to earth, patriarchal and misogynist. We will have to show them the danda. We are giving you a free hand. The Muslim intelligentsia says that majority of the equality laws related to women are in the Quran. Is the government ready to give a hurt to them? No. The Muslim intelligentsia wants to prove its point that so far gender equality and gender justice goes, you will have to empower the women by the Quranic laws. Is there any discussion? Have the government call in the people from the Muslim intelligentsia, or even for that matter the clergy? No.
But that is exactly what the Law Commission was doing. They were inviting from everybody, Muslim intelligentsia or the clergymen from the Muslim community. That's the entire exercise, but to which also you have an objection, Atikur Rahman. It can't be both ways.
This is too time consuming. Your survey shows that the government the ball is in the court of the government. So they will have to deliver. Promises and promises and promises won't work.
Sure. So the government has to deliver. Whether that bill comes in now, it comes in much later, does it come in right before 2024 as many opposition parties have predicted, that remains to be seen. Like I said right at the start, this particular survey is not about a uniform civil code as a bill or as a law. All we're trying to do is ascertain what the sentiment of the Muslim women in this country is. On that note, I thank you both for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective, but reactions are coming in thick and fast. We now have a former law secretary who's also responded to this mega UCC survey that we've conducted here on News 18 Network. Former law secretary then goes on to say that he's glad that educating women are supporting UCC. There should be no discrimination based on gender or religion, says the former law secretary. Listen in.
Network 18 has conducted a survey with various findings coming out. I have with me a former law secretary of the country, Mr. P.K. Malhotra, who would shed light on his views with regards to a uniform civil code in the country and the findings that Network 18 could find out in its survey. So there are certain findings, as we shared with you as well, with regards to how there is a very high support for a uniform civil code, especially with Muslim women coming in and weighing in their support for a uniform civil code in the country. How do you see this issue, first of all, and what are your comments on the findings that we have got?
Well, I have seen your findings that I'm happy that most of the elite women, or rather I will say educated women, not elite women, educated Muslim women are supporting the UCC. Although the format or the mode in which the UCC will be coming is not yet clear, but the fact remains that the citizens of this country, to whatever religion they may be belonging, they want that for the enforcement of their fundamental rights, more particularly there should be no discrimination with regard to inheritance, succession, marriage, in all the religions, that there should be a uniform law on that. So this is only one part of the UCC. UCC may contain many other things about which we are not aware, and we will come to know about it only when a draft comes before us. But whatever discussion has been so far going on, that because of certain religious practices which are prevalent in the personal laws of some of the communities, maybe Christians, maybe Parsis, maybe Muslims or other communities, there should be uniformity so that they can be applied across all lines to all women and children in this country, and they inherit the same kind of rights. And the preamble of the Indian Constitution also talks of equality. When you are talking of equality, then equality has to be with regard to your rights also. So I think I'm very happy with the kind of finding which your channel has brought. And I'm also happy, and I can share with you that this is not that for the first time that women or the educated women are coming in support of this kind of reforms. Because if I talk about the triple talaq, even after the judgment on triple talaq also, there were many women activists who have supported it and said that only those people who are religious fanatic, they want to continue with the old system. But because of the social and economic changes which have taken place in the country, and because of the economic well-being of the women and the children coming to the forefront, they all are looking for this kind of reforms.
It is not about Muslims. It is about the community at large, and there are many segments who have their own customs and rules and laws governing society, governing births and marriages and deaths and property. They have their own customs and laws. The attempt to use the name of Muslims is nothing but an attempt to polarize society before the votes again. It's a Hindu-Muslim thing. It has nothing to do with Hindus or Muslims or Christians. It is to do with traditional laws and customs which are prevalent in society for thousands of years.
नेटवर्क 18 ने जो सर्वे किया है उससे स्पष्ट होता है कि देश की जनभावना ये यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के साथ है। प्रधानमंत्री जी जनभावना को समझते हुए ही देश में निर्णय करते हैं। देश के अंदर सारे समाज के धर्मों के लोगों में यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को लेकर जिस प्रकार की एक मान्यता इस सर्वे के माध्यम से दिख रही है, ये अपने आप में एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण इस प्रकार की बात है।
Says a high degree of Muslim women are
we have opposed it. We have opposed it. We have
Muslim women say increasing the age limit of marriage to 21 is a good sign.
as a policy decision, DMK has opposed it.
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि पिछले 9 वर्षों में जिस प्रकार से मोदी जी ने जितनी भी लोकहित की योजनाएं रही हैं वो प्राथमिकता से महिला केंद्रित रही हैं और युवा केंद्रित, चाहे वो उज्ज्वला है, चाहे वो शौचालय बनाने की योजना थी, युवाओं को लेकर के मुद्रा योजना, और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि स्टार्टअप योजना। आने वाले वक्त में वही होगा जो सबके लिए ठीक होगा।
You've seen part 1 of the biggest survey on UCC, but this is not all. This is just the trailer. Picture abhi baki hai, and all of that is going to come up at 7 p.m. when we bring you part 2 of this mega survey. Don't miss that special exclusive.
Do you support a common law for marriage, divorce, adoption and inheritance? An overwhelming 67.2% have said yes. 2 out of 3 women who were surveyed are in favor of a common law when it comes to personal matters like inheritance, property rights, succession, marriage, etc. The younger you are, the more educated you are, the support goes up.
जो राजनेता बिना जाने इसको अपोज कर रहे हैं, शायद इस सर्वे के बाद उनकी आंख खुलेगी।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड जो समान नागरिक कानून अगर आता है तो सभी वर्ग के लोगों को न्याय मिलेगा, सभी वर्ग का उत्थान होगा, प्रगति होगी।
The policy decision DMK has opposed it.
Do you support a common law for marriage, adoption, inheritance, divorce? If common marriage age has to be 21, it will be 21 for everyone. If inheritance equal share is the one that is mandated, it will be the one for everybody.
जद में ले लेने के लिए आमादा हैं, और इन लहरों के ठीक बगल में अगर आप ये देखेंगे, ये पंचवक्त मंदिर है, और ये पंचवक्त मंदिर दरअसल कल तक लगभग आधा डूबा हुआ था, और आज क्योंकि पानी उतर गया है, ऐसे में कम से कम इसका ये जो प्लेटफॉर्म है, इसका चबूतरा है, वो दिखाई दे रहा है। लेकिन उधर वो जो लाल रंग में आप देख रहे हैं वो दरअसल शमशान है, और शमशान कल पूरी तरीके से जलमग्न दिखाई दे रहा था। लेकिन जिस तरीके से पहाड़ों पर बरसात हो रही है और बरसात की वजह से पानी लगातार भरता चला जा रहा है डैम में, ऐसे में माना यह जा रहा है कि पंडोह डैम के गेट कभी भी खोले जा सकते हैं, क्योंकि कल जब 4 गेट पंडोह डैम के खोले गए थे तो तबाही भीषण आई थी। और ये जो पानी आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं तेज वेग के साथ बह रहा है, दरअसल ये जो पानी है ये यहीं तक सीमित नहीं था, ये पानी उतर गया है। हम आपको दिखाएंगे, देखिए ये जो पूरा इलाका, ये कटान आप देख रहे हैं, ये पानी बढ़ते बढ़ते ऊपर की तरफ आता चला गया। और आपको दिखाते चले कि ये पानी यहाँ से होता हुआ, ये जो कटान आप देख रहे हैं, दरअसल ये देखिए, ये जो कटान और ये जो मिट्टी आप देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ से होता हुआ पानी ऊपर पहुँचा। और ऊपर कहाँ पे, ये आप हनुमान मंदिर देख रहे हैं, ये हनुमान मंदिर भी पूरी तरीके से डूबा नजर आया था कल, लेकिन आज क्योंकि पानी उतर चुका है थोड़ा सा, इसलिए स्थिति थोड़ी सी सामान्य दिखाई दे रही है।
कुल्लू जिला से मनाली में लगातार जो है बारिश का दौर जारी है और नदी नाले भी जो पूरी तरह उफान से, और हम भी ग्राउंड जीरो से आपको पल पल की अपडेट दे रहे हैं। इसमें मैं खड़ा हूं मनाली चंडीगढ़ नेशनल हाईवे पे, और यहाँ पर आप देखिए किस तरह की तस्वीरें हैं। जो मनाली चंडीगढ़ नेशनल हाईवे है वो उसमें पूरी तरह से जो पानी यहाँ पर भर चुका है। आप सामने तस्वीरें देखिए, जो ब्यास नदी है उसका पानी अब जो है सड़कों पर आना यहाँ पर जो आरंभ हो चुका है। काफी पानी यहाँ पर आ रहा है, जिसके चलते जो हाथ काफी खराब है, कई जगह जो मार्ग क्षतिग्रस्त। कुछ युवक यहाँ पे मौजूद है, हम इनसे बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे और इनसे हम जानने की कोशिश करेंगे। फिलहाल ये तस्वीरें देखिए किस तरह लोग जो है यहाँ पर जो इस सड़क को पार करते हुए यहाँ पर नजर आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि सड़कों पर जो पानी यहाँ पर जो भर चुका है और लोग यहाँ पर जो है पैदल जो यहाँ पर गुजरने को जो मजबूर। हम इनसे बात करते और इनसे हम जानते हैं।
यहाँ बहुत पीछे बारिश हो रही है, पानी बहुत ज्यादा चल रहा है। हम जा रहे हैं दुकान पे ना, हमारा ढाबा है वहाँ ना मंदिर के पास, वो दुकानें बह गई ना, फिर आना पड़ा रूम से। ब्यास नदी में कुछ पहले नहीं पानी था, आज के हालात में बहुत पानी चल रहा है यहाँ पे।
कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रशासन है, प्रशासन ने भी यहाँ पर जो अलर्ट जारी किया, और जो रास्ते, क्योंकि अब जिस तरह जो ब्यास नदी जो अब सड़कों पर बहनी जो शुरू हो चुकी है, तो ऐसे में प्रशासन ने भी यहाँ पर जो एहतियात बरते हो जो फिलहाल वाहनों की आवाजाही को यहाँ पर जो फिलहाल रोक दिया।
Himachal Pradesh is the worst affected state as far as rain fury is concerned. At last count, unfortunately, at least 9 lives were lost in that state. The state is now working on a war footing to ensure that figure does not go beyond that. CNN News 18's Anjali Pandey spoke exclusively with the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. Listen.
क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि सरकार द्वारा क्या एक्शन लिया जा रहा है? जो हम परिस्थितियां देख रहे हैं स्टेट में, बहुत बुरा हाल हो रखा है बारिश की वजह से, क्या एक्शन लिया जा रहा है सरकार द्वारा?
50 वर्षों में इतनी बड़ी तबाही हुई है, पर हमारी कोशिश के बावजूद जो जानी नुकसान है वो कम हुआ है, क्योंकि समय पर प्रशासन ने अलर्ट कर दिया था। अभी जो कल रात को 2 बजे हमने 6 लोगों को बचाया। आज सुबह 4 बजे जो 29 लोग एक बिल्डिंग में फंस गए थे और बाढ़ में चारों तरफ से पानी आ चुका था, उनको सुबह से 7 बजे निकाला है। कसोल में, मनाली के पास एक कसोल जगह है, वहाँ 24 लोग फंसे थे, उनको बाहर निकाला है। तो अब जो लोग फंसे हुए उन सबको निकाल लिया गया है। और जो तबाही हुई है, लैंडस्लाइड्स हुई है, पुल बह गए हैं, सड़कें बंद है, अभी भी तेज बारिश चली हुई है। ऐसी तबाही पहले कभी भी देखने को नहीं मिली। तकरीबन काफी नुकसान, बहुत कुछ नुकसान हुआ है। और जहां से भी मैं डिप्टी कमिश्नरों से बात कर रहा हूँ, पुलिस विभाग के अधिकारियों से बात कर रहा हूँ, हर सड़क बंद हो रही है, हर जगह लैंडस्लाइड हो रहा है। बड़ी मुश्किल से लोगों का आना जाना, हमने कहा है कि बंद करने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और जो जब तक मौसम खुलता नहीं तब तक हमारा ये प्रार्थना है कि सब लोग घरों में ही रहें। स्कूल कॉलेजेस हमने 2 दिन के लिए बंद कर दिए।
जी सर, कितने दिन लग सकते हैं सिचुएशन को नॉर्मल करने में?
जब तक ये बारिश नहीं रुकती, ना हेलीकॉप्टर की सुविधा है।
Welcome back. There seems to be no end to violence over Panchayat elections in the state of West Bengal. After protests, allegations and counter-allegations, politics continues because repolling today took place at over 600 polling booths by the State Election Commission amid high security. Of these polling booths, maximum booths of 175 are in Murshidabad. This is after reports of violence, allegations of malpractice came to the fore from many of these booths like that in Murshidabad and Malda. A TMC town president was reportedly assaulted by BJP workers yesterday evening. That was a claim that came to the fore from the TMC. In various places, the opposition staged protests alleging that widespread rigging of elections has taken place under the Mamata government. Meanwhile, the Bengal governor, C.V. Ananda Bose, is in the national capital. He is expected to meet Union Home Minister Amit Shah and submit a detailed report to him on the poll violence at 6:30 p.m. today. Now, BJP chief JP Nadda has also stepped in. He's constituted a 4-member fact-finding committee to visit violence-hit areas in West Bengal. Ravi Shankar Prasad is going to be heading that panel. Meanwhile, BJP's Sukanta Majumdar says that a bomb industry is flourishing in the state of West Bengal. So the allegations there coming to the fore thick and fast from the BJP, who's not only claimed that the ruling TMC is behind much of the violence that we have seen in the state, not just on Sunday, but even today when repolling took place. Now we have the BJP that is going to be on a fact-finding mission in the state. 4-member panel that has been constituted by the BJP chief, Ravi Shankar Prasad, the former union minister, is going to be heading that panel, taking stock of the situation on ground. How the TMC has reacted to this, we'll have to wait and watch out for. Kamalika, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details of what exactly is transpiring in the state of West Bengal. Kamalika, just give us a picture of how exactly the day today of repolling transpired.
See, the repolling was more or less peaceful. There was some incident in Dinhata of bombing, some incident. Otherwise, it was peaceful. On one hand, on another hand, Subhendu Adhikari has asked for a CBI inquiry into the deaths that took place on the day of the polls and the run up to the elections. And also, this fact-finding team has come up. Tomorrow is the result. So it was a high-profile match, definitely, between TMC and BJP and CPIM Congress. So we'll have to really see what the result comes out. And there were a couple of incidents of forceful violence too. BJP is saying that the poll has been entirely rigged, and that's why there's no point of, with the waiting for the results. On the other hand, the TMC is saying that in spite of them contesting in so many seats, they were not what number as what they required. So basically, we'll really have to see what happens tomorrow.
Right.
But on ground, the situation in various places is still changed.
And before the results are out tomorrow, we're also going to be seeing the centre that steps in when the governor of the state meets with Union Home Minister Amit Shah and then the president later this evening. For the moment, though, Kamalika, thank you so much for getting us the latest. The politics over this continues. It's only going to escalate once the results are out tomorrow. Listen in to some of those reactions.
Our prayer basically confined on three issues. Number one, compensation has to be given to those, be it family first. Second, the injured person should be afforded treatment. Third, due to the poor infrastructure of medical health care facility, people are suffering a lot. They should be provided all sorts of medical and financial assistance. I urge upon the judiciary that an investigation should be conducted under the stewardship, superintendence of sitting judge of this High Court. High Court, more often than not, has given direction in order to ensure free and fair election.
हजारों की संख्या में सेंट्रल फोर्सेस आई है। कोर्ट में बार बार गुहार लगाए लोगों ने, उनके जो कर्मचारी वोट कर्मी बन के गए वो भी लगाए। तो सरकार ने, केंद्र सरकार ने सैकड़ों करोड़ खर्चा करके भेजा है यहाँ, लेकिन वो कहाँ गए फोर्स, कहाँ बैठे रहे? कहीं गांव में हम देखे नहीं है। कहीं गए तो हम मारकाट हो गया, खून खराबा हो गया, वोट लूट हो गया, उसके बाद जाके पहुंचे। क्या फायदा होता है? कोर्ट बोला था हर बूथ में सेंट्रल फोर्स का डिप्लॉयमेंट होना चाहिए। तो अगर हो जाता तो इतना मौत नहीं होती। लोगों का लोकतांत्रिक अधिकार को छीना नहीं सकता लोग, वो हो गया सब। तो इन्होंने पहले ही मन बना के रखे थे कि सेंट्रल फोर्स को डिप्लॉय नहीं करेंगे। कोर्ट बोला है इसलिए स्वीकार किया था, लेकिन कहीं नहीं लगाया उन्होंने।
All opposition parties, they know that politically and democratically they cannot defeat us. So they have very cleverly chalked out a blueprint to create violence in the state of West Bengal, to make sure there is bloodshed, there is loss of life, so that they can portray Bengal in bad light. The opposition parties demanded central forces. The central forces came, but unfortunately they were nowhere to be seen. It is Trinamool Congress who has lost most of its cadres. It is Trinamool Congress who has suffered the most.
The monsoon fury continues in northern part of this country. The overall death toll stands at around 22, 9 deaths being reported from Himachal Pradesh alone. A red alert has now been issued for at least 7 districts in the state of Himachal. An orange alert has been issued for 3 other districts. Red alert has been issued for Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, North Haryana, North Punjab as well. There's a warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the next 2 to 3 days. The national capital too has been receiving heavy rainfall for the last 2 or 3 days. Schools have been shut in Delhi, Noida, Gurugram and Ghaziabad. Private offices in Gurugram have been advised to work from home as well. In Ludhiana, schools too remain closed there. Take a look at some of these reports that are coming in.
हिमाचल प्रदेश के पर्यटन नगरी मनाली से कुल्लू जिला में लगातार बारिश का दौर जारी है, जिसके कारण जो है ब्यास नदी ने यहाँ पर जो रौद्र रूप जो धारण कर लिया है। मैं इसमें की सबसे पहले तस्वीरें दिखाना चाहूंगा। देखिए ब्यास नदी की ये तस्वीरें हैं, किस तरह जो यहाँ पर ब्यास नदी ने जो रौद्र रूप यहाँ पर जो धारण कर लिया और बाढ़ से हालात यहाँ पर जो बन चुके हैं, जिसके कारण जो भारी तबाही यहाँ पर हुई। हम इसमें खड़े हैं रामशीलम जो हनुमान मंदिर है और वहां पे खड़े और यहाँ की तस्वीरें देखिए किस तरह जो है बाढ़ का पानी जो है मंदिर में यहाँ पर आ चुका और जब पूरा मंदिर जो इसकी चपेट में आ चुका, जो भी सामान यहाँ पे था वो भी जो है ब्यास नदी अपने साथ जो है यहाँ से बहा के ले गई है। तो अगर मैं बात करूं अब तक की, तो संपत्ति को काफी ज्यादा नुकसान यहाँ पे हुआ है। करोड़ों रुपए की जो संपत्ति जो है ब्यास नदी की वेट यहाँ पर चढ़ चुकी है। मनाली से कुल्लू तक की अगर मैं बात करूं तो कई सारे होटल, मकान, वाहन, दुकान जो है इस ब्यास नदी की चपेट में यहाँ पर आ चुका है। और इसके साथ ही अभी तक जो जानी नुकसान है, फिलहाल जो आधिकारिक पुष्टि एक महिला की जो है मलबे में दबने के कारण जो है एक आधिकारिक पुष्टि यहाँ पर हो चुकी है। हालांकि अभी ये नहीं कहा जाता कि कितने और लोगों की यहाँ पर जो है मृत्यु हुई है, वो अभी यहाँ पर नहीं कहा जाता क्योंकि आधिकारिक पुष्टि नहीं हुई। लेकिन संपत्ति को जो भारी नुकसान हुआ है, मनाली से कुल्लू के मध्य जो नेशनल हाईवे 3 है वो पूरी तरह से जो क्षतिग्रस्त हो चुका है। कई स्थानों पर जो पूरा का पूरा मार्ग जो है बाधित हो चुका है। इसके साथ ही जो रात की खबर है कि जो आलू ग्राउंड में जो 27 से 28 लोग जो वहां पर फंसे हुए थे, उन्हें जो प्रशासन द्वारा वहां से जो है सुरक्षित वहां से जो है रेस्क्यू कर दिया गया है। हालांकि हालात अभी भी जो खराब बने हुए क्योंकि बारिश अभी भी जो लगातार यहाँ पे हो रही है। तस्वीरें आप देखिए, इन तस्वीरों को देखकर आप अंदेशा लगा सकते कितनी ज्यादा बाढ़ जो है इसमें ब्यास नदी में आई हुई है। और
जयपुर का सवाई मानसिंह अस्पताल देश के सर्वश्रेष्ठ अस्पताल में से एक अस्पताल इसको कहा जाता है, लेकिन इसकी वानगी देखिए कि इस अस्पताल की मानसून की पहली बड़ी बारिश के अंदर क्या हाल हो गया। इसका पूरा अस्पताल पानी पानी हो गया। आप देखिए कि अस्पताल के वार्ड में बेड पर जहां मरीज थे वहां पर आपको मोटर नजर आ रही है, पंप जिससे पानी निकाला जा रहा है। ये पाइप के जरिए वार्डों को खाली किया जा रहा है क्योंकि सभी वार्डों के अंदर पानी भर गया और मरीजों को जैसे तैसे यहाँ से किसी तरीके से परिजन लेकर गए, पूरे के पूरे यहाँ से वार्ड खाली करा दिए गए, शिफ्ट कर दिए गए। आप देखिए कि तस्वीरें देखिए कि किन हालात में मरीजों को यहाँ से ले जाना पड़ा। यहाँ सामान सारा पड़ा हुआ, उनकी दवाइयाँ पड़ी है। ये कैंसर वार्ड है। आप देखिए कि किस तरीके से एक बड़ी बीमारी का वार्ड जिसके अंदर खास तौर पर विशेष सावधानी बरतने की जरूरत है, उस अस्पताल उसमें स्थिति देखिए कि किस तरीके से बेड पूरे पानी के अंदर डूबे हुए, वहां तक ऊपर तक बेड तक पानी आया हुआ है और यहाँ से फिर मरीजों को यहाँ से हटाना पड़ा। अभी भी सामान पानी के अंदर बह रहा है और ये एक वार्ड नहीं, कतार में कई सारे वार्ड हैं जिनके अंदर सबके अंदर पानी भर रखा। और अब देखिए कि यहाँ से जहाँ देखेंगे सारे वार्डों की यही स्थिति है। यहाँ पर पीछे आप तस्वीरें दोहराएंगे, जहाँ देखेंगे वहीं यहाँ। और मरीज का आप देखिए कि मरीजों को यहाँ पर गैलरी के अंदर यहाँ से, क्योंकि यहाँ तक पानी भरा हुआ है, अब इसके बाद में किसी तरीके से बेड को खींच कर ऊपर लाए और कुछ अभी भी मरीज यहाँ पर गैलरी के अंदर यहाँ पर है।
पहाड़ों में तेज होती बारिश की वजह से छोटी काशी यानी कि मंडी इस वक्त पानी से लबालब डूबी नजर आ रही है और पंडोह डैम के खोल देने के बाद व्यास नदी आप देखेंगे तो अपने उफान पर है। ये प्रचंड वेग कर देखकर अंदाजा लगाइए कि कितनी बड़ी तबाही इस प्रचंड वेग ने मचाई होगी और ये लहरें कुछ भी अपनी जद में ले लेने के लिए आमादा हैं। और इन लहरों के ठीक बगल में अगर आप ये देखेंगे, ये पंचवक्त मंदिर है और ये पंचवक्त मंदिर दरअसल कल तक लगभग आधा डूबा हुआ था और आज क्योंकि पानी उतर गया है, ऐसे में कम से कम इसका ये जो प्लेटफॉर्म है, इसका चबूतरा है, वो दिखाई दे रहा है। लेकिन उधर वो जो लाल रंग में आप देख रहे हैं वो दरअसल शमशान है और शमशान कल पूरी तरीके से जलमग्न दिखाई दे रहा था। लेकिन जिस तरीके से पहाड़ों पर बरसात हो रही है और बरसात की वजह से पानी लगातार भरता चला जा रहा है डैम में, ऐसे में माना यह जा रहा है कि पंडोह डैम के गेट कभी भी खोले जा सकते हैं। क्योंकि कल जब 4 गेट पंडोह डैम के खोले गए थे तो तबाही भीषण आई थी और ये जो पानी आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं तेज वेग के साथ बह रहा है, दरअसल ये जो पानी है ये यहीं तक सीमित नहीं था, ये पानी उतर गया है। हम आपको दिखाएंगे, देखिए ये जो पूरा इलाका, ये कटान आप देख रहे हैं, ये पानी बढ़ते बढ़ते ऊपर की तरफ आता चला गया और आपको दिखाते चले कि ये पानी यहां से होता हुआ, ये जो कटान आप देख रहे हैं, दरअसल ये देखिए ये जो कटान और ये जो मिट्टी आप देख रहे हैं कि यहां से होता हुआ पानी ऊपर पहुंचा। और ऊपर कहाँ पे, ये आप हनुमान मंदिर देख रहे हैं, ये हनुमान मंदिर भी पूरी तरीके से डूबा नजर आया था कल, लेकिन आज क्योंकि पानी उतर चुका है थोड़ा सा, इसलिए स्थिति थोड़ी सी सामान्य दिखाई दे रही है।
कुल्लू जिला से मनाली में लगातार जो है बारिश का दौर जारी है और नदी नाले भी जो पूरी तरह उफान से, और हम भी ग्राउंड जीरो से आपको पल पल की अपडेट दे रहे हैं। इसमें मैं खड़ा हूं मनाली चंडीगढ़ नेशनल हाईवे पे और यहाँ पर आप देखिए किस तरह की तस्वीरें हैं। जो मनाली चंडीगढ़ नेशनल हाईवे है वो उसमें पूरी तरह से जो पानी यहाँ पर भर चुका है। आप सामने तस्वीरें देखिए, जो ब्यास नदी है उसका पानी अब जो है सड़कों पर आना यहाँ पर जो आरंभ हो चुका है। काफी पानी यहाँ पर आ रहा है जिसके चलते जो हाथ काफी खराब है, कई जगह जो मार्ग क्षतिग्रस्त। कुछ युवक यहाँ पे मौजूद है, हम इनसे बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे और इनसे हम जानने की कोशिश करेंगे। फिलहाल ये तस्वीरें देखिए किस तरह लोग जो है यहाँ पर जो इस सड़क को पार करते हुए यहाँ पर नजर आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि सड़कों पर जो पानी यहाँ पर जो भर चुका है और लोग यहाँ पर जो है पैदल जो यहाँ पर गुजरने को जो मजबूर। हम इनसे बात करते और इनसे हम जानते हैं।
यहाँ बहुत पीछे बारिश हो रही है, पानी बहुत ज्यादा चल रहा है। हम जा रहे हैं दुकान पे ना, हमारा ढाबा है वहाँ ना मंदिर के पास, वो दुकानें बह गई ना, फिर आना पड़ा रूम से। व्यास नदी में कुछ पहले नहीं पानी था, आज के हालात में बहुत पानी चल रहा है यहाँ पे।
कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रशासन ने भी यहाँ पर जो अलर्ट जारी किया और जो रास्ते, क्योंकि अब जिस तरह जो ब्यास नदी जो अब सड़कों पर बहनी जो शुरू हो चुकी है, तो ऐसे में प्रशासन ने भी यहाँ पर जो एहतियात बरते हो, जो फिलहाल वाहनों की आवाजाही को यहाँ पर जो फिलहाल रोक दिया।
Now, Himachal is the worst affected state as far as monsoon fury goes, and the Chief Minister is taking stock there. Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu now says that the state is facing electricity crisis, the national highways are closed, but all tourists are safe and there is no need for panic at the moment.
पिछले रात से कुल्लू में बिजली की समस्या पैदा हो गई है, पूरे हिमाचल प्रदेश में बिजली की समस्या पैदा हुई है, पेयजल की समस्या पैदा हुई है, सड़कें अवरुद्ध हो चुकी है, उनको खुलवाने का दायित्व अब प्रदेश सरकार कर रही है और जैसे ही बारिश रुकती है मेरा ये मानना है कि हम उन्हें युद्ध स्तर पर इन सब चीज़ों को कार्यों को पूरा करें। अब जो हमारे लोग पर्यटक फंसे हैं उन पर्यटकों को पर हमारे अधिकारी वहाँ पहुँचे हैं, जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी हैं, उनसे भी बातचीत हुई तो सब लोगों से हमारी बातचीत कहा कि इस विपदा के समय हम आपके साथ खड़े हैं। मैंने उनसे अनुरोध किया कि इसे राष्ट्रीय आपदा घोषित किया जाए।
Now, Delhi too has been reeling under the effects of the monsoon fury that we've seen in the last few days. We're now learning that Delhi's Lieutenant Governor has met with the Union Home Minister. The issue of the rains and the kind of precautions that have been taken is something that was discussed. What are the relief measures that have already been put in place and what are the precautionary measures that have to be put in place? All of that will come up. The Delhi Lieutenant Governor will be briefing Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who is taking stock. Remember, earlier in the day, Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal too, held an emergency meeting over the situation in the national capital. Several measures were put in place, which was announced by the Chief Minister right after that crucial meeting that he held. Now, the centre also keeping a close watch. Rupashri, my colleague, getting us more details. Rupashri, this meeting has taken place between the Delhi LG and Union Home Minister, or is it slated for later in the evening?
No. As we gather, the Lieutenant Governor is already meeting the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, and on the agenda is discussing relief measures for the possible flood-like situation here in the national capital. And that is the agenda which is there on the meeting. And as we speak, we learn that the meeting is still on. So the Lieutenant Governor also, asserting his position here in the national capital and also trying to do his bit after the Chief Minister held an emergency meeting and announced several measures for relief in the national capital.
Right, several measures were announced by the Chief Minister of Delhi just a short while ago, where he held that emergency meeting and a press conference after that. For the moment, Rupashri, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Let's listen in to what the Delhi Chief Minister had to say.
हम सबको मिलके, सरकारों को और लोगों को मिलके और सभी पार्टियों को मिलके इसके ऊपर लोगों को राहत पहुंचाने की ज़रूरत है। मैं कई ऑफिसर्स को मैं जानता हूं जिन्होंने रात भर 24-24 घंटे काम किया है, लेकिन जितनी बड़ी समस्या है उसको देखते हुए चाहे जितने मर्जी एफर्ट्स किए जाएं, ऑल एफर्ट्स आर प्रूविंग लेस। 40 साल में इतनी बारिश पहली बार 40 साल के बाद हुई है। सो अनप्रेसिडेंटेड बारिश है। इतनी बारिश को बर्दाश्त करने के लिए दिल्ली का सिस्टम डिजाइंड नहीं है। CWC के हिसाब से अभी इस वक्त दिल्ली में 203.58 मीटर तक हमारा लेवल पहुंचा यमुना का। कल सुबह 205.5 मीटर तक पहुंचेगा और जो वेदर की प्रेडिक्शंस अगले कुछ दिनों की हैं उसके हिसाब से यमुना का स्तर बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ने की उम्मीद अभी फिलहाल नहीं है।
We are currently reporting from the Pragati Maidan tunnel, which has been closed by the Delhi police because of the heavy water logging which is now going to be seen inside the tunnel. The picture that we are going to show you is from that particular tunnel which has recently been allowed for the commuters to move, but you can see that this place is completely filled with water, and to avoid any of the inconvenience for the commuters, there is board as well which has been pasted by the Delhi police that nobody is allowed to enter this tunnel. In fact, the guards have also been deployed at the entry point. But this is the picture which is now coming in, where you can see that a particular part of the tunnel is completely filled with water, and there are many of the routes which are given by this particular tunnel, so it is also causing many of the inconvenience for the commuters, because today is the day one of the week and it is going to be peak as many of the people are approaching towards their office site, so it is also becoming a problem for many of the Delhiites.
That is time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5, but lots more lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Do you support a common law for marriage, divorce, adoption and inheritance? An overwhelming 67.2% have said yes.
2 out of 3 women who were surveyed are in favor of a common law when it comes to personal matters like inheritance, property rights, succession, marriage, etc. The younger you are, the more educated you are, the support goes up.
जो राजनेता बिना जाने इसको अपोज कर रहे हैं, शायद इस सर्वे के बाद उनकी आंख खुलेगी।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड जो समान नागरिक कानून अगर आता है तो सभी वर्ग के लोगों को न्याय मिलेगा, सभी वर्ग का उत्थान होगा, प्रगति होगी।
The policy decision where DMK is opposed to.
Do you support a common law for marriage, adoption, inheritance, divorce? If common marriage age has to be 21, it will be 21 for everyone. If inheritance equal share is the one that is mandated, it will be the one for everybody.
बंद कर दिए।
जी सर, कितने दिन लग सकते हैं सिचुएशन को नॉर्मल करने में?
जब तक ये बारिश नहीं रुकती, ना हेलीकॉप्टर की सुविधा है रोड में, क्योंकि मैं खुद पूरे स्थिति पर नजर रखे हुए हूँ और मैं मुझे भी डिप्टी कमिश्नर ने कहा कि अभी आने की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि आधी सड़क पानी के बीच में डूबी हुई है मनाली और कुल्लू और इस रोड में। कुल्लू डिस्ट्रिक्ट हमारा पिछले रात से पूरी बिजली कट है। 130 मेगावाट का लाडली प्रोजेक्ट तो वो पानी में डूब चुका है और अभी सतलुज नदी के किनारे भी हमने अलर्ट जारी कर दिया है।
बारिश के कारण बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ, जिसका मैं कह सकता हूं कि आज से पहले हमने कभी इतना नुकसान होते नहीं देखा कि हमको थुनाग का पूरा बाजार का आधा हिस्से से ज़्यादा हमको खाली करना पड़ा। कि सरकार को समय रहते थोड़ा जो प्रेपरेशन जो करने की ज़रूरत थी, जो एक नॉर्मल कोर्स होता है, ये सारी चीज़ों को लेकर के मैं समझता हूं कि अब की बार थोड़ा कैजुअली लिया गया है। धन्यवाद करता हूं एनडीआरएफ टीम की टीम का और धन्यवाद करता हूं मैं केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री भाई अमित शाह जी का, टीम जिसने बेहतर ढंग से लोगों की जिंदगी को बचाने के लिए काम किया है।
अनप्रेसिडेंटेड रेनफॉल के कारण जो क्षति हुई है आपके सामने है और एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट ने माननीय मुख्यमंत्री को सारी बातें में उनको संज्ञान में लाकर हमने पिछले कल निर्णय लिया था, क्योंकि 10 और 11 को आपका रेड अलर्ट है। इन सभी बातों को देखकर हमने निर्णय लिया जो हमारे स्कूल्स और कॉलेजेस है ये बंद रहेंगे और आने वाले समय के लिए भी हम स्थिति को रिव्यू करेंगे ताकि आगामी जो भी हम निर्णय ले स्टूडेंट्स की सेफ्टी को देखते हुए ले। शिमला जिला भी काफी हद तक प्रभावित है, हालांकि सड़कें भी जहां तक एनएच की बात करूंगा, चाहे वो रामपुर की बात है, हाटकोटी रोडू की बात है, चली तो है, लेकिन बीच बीच में बंद होने की भी कई इस तरह की बातें सामने आ रही है।
Nikhil, my colleague, joining us live from the national capital from the Pragati Maidan tunnel, which was forced to shut down yesterday because of the waterlogging that took place over the incessant rainfall that we saw here in the national capital. Nikhil, what's the situation like at the moment? It hasn't rained for the last couple of hours or so. Has that ensured that the tunnel is now open for traffic?
So Poonam, it has started raining yet again in the national capital Delhi, and the water continues to be inside the particular tunnel, which now we are going to show you on the screen of CNN News 18. You can see that this is the prominent tunnel which connects to the central part of the national capital Delhi, and it is now closed for 3 days. Today is the 3rd day, and we have been given to understand that the barricading has also been put up by the Delhi Traffic Police, and no movement is allowed for any of the commuters. This is the main reason as to why why the commuters today were facing many of the trouble, because today is the day one of the working week. And this is the reason why we can see that many of the problems have also caused by the heavy rainfall which has been received in the national capital Delhi. So you can see that this is the tunnel which could now be seen that it is completely filled with water. And in fact we can not see any of the effort which is being put up by the concerned authority to remove the water.
Now, rains have battered not just the national capital but several other cities in northern India. The state of Himachal Pradesh has been the worst affected. Let's take a look at some of these reports that are coming in.
हिमाचल में जो मौसम विभाग का अलर्ट है और येलो अलर्ट के बीच में लगातार आप देख सकते हैं नदी नाले उफान पर हैं और मौसम विभाग ने जो ये अलर्ट जारी किया है कि नदी नालों के पास ना जाए। और इस वक्त हमारे साथ लोग गायक हैं कल्याण राणा जी, उनसे जानते हैं कि उनका वो क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे।
लोगों से यही कहना चाहता हूँ, कई बार हम सेल्फी लेने के जोश में हम रोड खो देते हैं और हमारी ये जैसे ये आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग सेल्फियाँ ले रहे हैं, फोटो खींच रहे हैं, लेकिन उस सबसे पहले अपने आप को संभालें, अपनी सुरक्षा का ध्यान रखें।
हमारे जो लोग हैं स्थानीय लोगों को भी, जो यात्री आते हैं, टूरिस्ट आते हैं, उनको ये समझाने की जरूरत है कि नदी नालों से दूर रहें, क्योंकि ये पानी कभी भी रौद्र रूप ले सकता है। आप देख सकते हैं किस तरह ब्यास नदी ने रौद्र रूप लिया है। यहाँ बारिश
Welcome back. Sources within the Prime Minister's office are now telling CNN News 18 that Prime Minister has brought up the issue of extradition of Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi in every India-UK trade-related meeting. The UK government is facing immense pressure from the Indian side over the pending issue of their extradition. PMO source now telling CNN News 18 that Prime Minister Modi has strongly told the UK government that it cannot be a trade partner and a home for fugitives at the same time. Remember, Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya have both defrauded public sector banks here in India. They've allegedly siphoned off funds through their companies and they're under investigation for that. The fraud resulted in losses worth of thousands of crores of rupees to the lenders here back home. But both of them have found safe haven in the United Kingdom, something that India is not going to take lying down anymore. Both are currently in the UK, like I pointed out. Payal Mehta, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details. Payal, if you could take us through what exactly the clear message was from the Prime Minister's office to his counterpart in the UK.
There are two messages that have been conveyed by the Prime Minister as far as this entire matter is concerned. A, there will be zero tolerance as far as corruption and any economic offences are concerned, and that's one of the reasons. Repeatedly, the UK government has been saying that they have been put under pressure to act against Nirav Modi and of course Vijay Mallya amongst the others as well, who've duped banks worth thousands and thousands of crores and have been declared as fugitive as well. So that's something which has been reiterated. Also, once again, it's being said that India does not mind, putting its position out very, very straight. They say that, such offences, offenders being shielded and trade with India cannot go in the same hand. Exactly the way India had told Pakistan that terror and talks will not happen together. It seems that India is very clearly stating its foreign policy with the friendly nations also, that, unless otherwise you honour the commitment that India has towards its people, there is no way that we'll do business with you as well. So that's the message which is really going out. It comes in at a very crucial time when the Union Minister for Commerce, Mr. Piyush Goyal, will be in the United Kingdom for a series of meetings to do with FATF as well. So that is something which has been reiterated, and this message was very loud and clear just a couple of days ago when the Prime Minister spoke once again in Bhopal. That was, of course, during a political rally when he clearly said that my job and the government's job is to make sure that every offender is brought to the books as well, clearly stating that the only guarantee that his government and he can give to the people of the country is that anybody who has, had any offences of any sort, anybody who's been involved in corruption will see the doors of the jail. That's the commitment of the Modi government, yet again being reiterated this time around. UK being told once again that yes, they will have to act strong against Vijay Mallya and of course Nirav Modi, who are both shielding in the UK right now.
Right, Payal, a strong message there coming to the fore from the Prime Minister's office that the highest levels as far as shielding of these economic fugitives is concerned. For the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. With that, it's a wrap from my side here on this edition of Nation at 5. Griha, my colleague, joins you next with Viewpoint. But at 7 p.m. comes up the big part 2 of the mega UCC survey that we've conducted here on News 18 Network. Don't miss that.
Do you support a common law for marriage, divorce, adoption and inheritance? An overwhelming 67.2% have said yes.
2 out of 3 women who were surveyed are in favor of a common law when it comes to personal matters like inheritance, property rights, succession, marriage, etc. The younger you are, the more educated you are, the support goes up.
जो राजनेता बिना जाने इसको अपोज कर रहे हैं, शायद इस सर्वे के बाद उनकी आंख खुलेगी।
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड जो समान नागरिक कानून अगर आता है तो सभी वर्ग के लोगों को न्याय मिलेगा, सभी वर्ग का उत्थान होगा, प्रगति होगी।
The policy decision में DMK is opposed to.
Do you support a common law for marriage, adoption, inheritance, divorce? If common marriage age has to be 21, it will be 21 for everyone. If inheritance equal share is the one that is mandated, it will be the one for everybody.
Good evening and a warm welcome. I'm Grihatul Siddiqui and this is Viewpoint. Today, as we take on yet another aspect of the Uniform Civil Code and put it up for discussion, the important thing to keep in mind is uniformity and equality are two different things. And much as gender justice is one essential aspect of bringing in a Uniform Civil Code in the country, it didn't form a part of any of the debates on it in the Constituent Assembly back then when the idea was floated. Secondly, can there ever be uniformity of personal laws in a diverse country like India? And when it comes to personal laws, the fingers are quick to get pointed at the Muslim personal law. And when we speak about that, the framers of the Constitution were also of the view that no government can use its provisions in a way that would force the Muslims to revolt. People back then in favor of a uniform civil code also conceded